It's very easy to get carried away by what you think you want, and deny yourself for what you're really truly looking for. And I'm sort of spitballing here, to be honest. So, some of this might not make sense initially, but it's all going to come round. So basically, it's funny because I look back at the last year or so, and just all the self-improvement content that I've consumed, and this is part of a wider point. I might make a video about this in the future, but I think self-improvement content, it can either be really good or really negative, just depending on where you are with your life and kind of how you're consuming it, And I think I'm at a point in my life where at the moment, a lot of the self-improvement content that I'm consuming is causing more damage than good, and it's kind of ironic because I'm here making what is effectively a sort of self-improvement video. But I think the point still stands that it can be useful incredibly useful, incredibly beneficial in certain circumstances. And like I said, this deserves a video in and of itself. But one thing that I think is worth saying is I just think you got to watch out for this, because there's a kind of sort of what's effectively like a dopamine hit that you get when you watch a self-improvement video. In kind of the first half of the video, where you kind of get this anticipation of discovering something that is going to help your life, like a dopamine detox video. And that kind of dopamine rush that you get it's so much more profound than just a scroll on TikTok or I don't know, some Mr. Beast video or whatever it is, some highly edited video on YouTube. And it's funny because I always thought self-improvement videos are good because it's always going to be a net positive, because at the end of the day, even if I'm just doing it for dopamine, I'm still getting good stuff while I'm doing it. And, there's a lot of truth to that, but the trouble is the kind of dopamine hit you get from self-improvement videos is a certain kind of hit that you get, because along with it comes this kind of idea that you're going to sort out your life and get better. And that's great if the video actually does deliver those things, but it's just not always the case. And so you need to be careful about how you consume. I'll make another video about that in the future. But what we're going to be talking about today is specifically kind of fake desires that you get, and you can often get from self-improvement videos about things that you think you should do, but they're kind of egoic. They're kind of, if it really came down to it, you wouldn't care that much about them. And I think I've picked up a lot of these from consuming self-improvement videos over the years. Especially when going to sleep. I think that's actually quite a dangerous time to watch videos about self-improvement, because you can almost end up hypnotizing yourself. You're kind of falling to sleep, and your last sort of conscious thoughts is someone talking about some specific goal that they have, that you should kind of do. That goes right into your subconscious while you're sleeping. And if you've done these sort of done sleep meditation, you've done stuff like that, you'll know how important that setting the intention before you go to sleep is, and how transformative that can be. And I just think a lot of this content I've consumed over the years, people like First Man, Iman Gadzhi, obviously there's been a reason why I've been drawn to their content in the first place, but I think I've added on sort of certain desires, certain things that they have that I don't necessarily want that much myself, or in any case, it's overshadowed what I truly want on a deep level. And I think a lot of this is kind of this sort of online entrepreneur lifestyle. And this does predate self-improvement for me for a while, because I remember going travelling and meeting people who were just on their computers and stuff like that. I do think it's a cool lifestyle and everything, and you know, I would like to try it. But you know, I was thinking to myself recently, if there was someone who just came up to you and said, you just can't do that. You can't be a digital nomad. It's just not going to happen. It's just these are the reasons why. Blah blah blah. Yeah, sorry about that. What would your thoughts be? And like, would there be some part of you that was kind of relieved? And I thought, yeah, absolutely. You know, in a sense, well, it sounds very boring. I just kind of almost want to get a 9 to 5 and just be done with it, and then, you know, have free time on the side. You know, build a career. You know, build sort of something more exciting. Absolutely, but fundamentally, I just want to get some money in my pocket and have a direction in my life. And you know, part of me doesn't want to just go along with the herd and just do what everyone else is doing. But another part of me is like, actually, I don't give a shit. Let's just get on with it. You know, I see so much of that. I mean, I saw this in my sales job as well, because you know, it's kind of funny saying this because door-to-door sales is kind of seen as a bit dodgy, but in a certain sense, it was quite a cool job, you know. It was quite kind of, you know, it's a bit like being a rock star or something, you know. It's a bit not dangerous exactly, but like, you gotta be quite ballsy, you know, to do it. You know, it's quite adventurous. It's a little bit sort of dodgy, you know. It's very like being a rock star when you think about it. And so yeah, I guess I quite liked the sort of the fact that it was all these things. But you know, what I realised was that deep down, it wasn't really what I was, you know, what I truly wanted on a deep level. You know, I had a look at my goals and what I wanted to achieve in life and stuff, and I actually thought, like, this doesn't really serve it very well. Like, in terms of these small things of like, oh, it's a cool job or whatever. You know, it serves me very well, but my sleep's horrendous. You know, I've got no time to spend on other goals that actually matter to me, like this YouTube channel. I mean, I got lots of great ideas for videos while I was there, while I was at the company, but I didn't really make any content at that time because I was so bogged down with everything. You know, my health just deteriorated. I had no time to go to the gym, no time to meditate, any of these kind of things, you know. And it's kind of boring, but what I realised is, if I just got a boring 9 to 5, like every other boring person, then that would ironically be better for my life, better for my self-improvement. And it's so funny because I guess a big part of self-improvement now is all about being like a part of the pack, you know, being apart from the pack, you know, being a kind of lone wolf, going out on your own and you know, like being part of the new elite, you know, like this kind of, or the new rich, you know. A lot of these self-improvement guys, particularly on the more financial side, there's this kind of idea of being a new, you know, this new sort of generation of people who are, I don't know, doing things differently. And I think Jordan Peterson said a good quote, which is like, you should do what everyone else does unless there's a good reason to do otherwise. I think that's a good way of looking at it, actually, because when you really think about the reasons why people go on self-improvement, I feel like a lot of it is really just sort of happiness and fulfillment, and a lot of that can be achieved without burning the book, you know, without going off on your own and doing some crazy thing. Now, there will be times when it's not, you know. There are plenty of times in your life to go out on your own and do your own thing, but it doesn't mean your life should be about that, you know. And I think it's better to be unconventional in very specific things than just generally unconventional. You know, that's much better. You know, for me, personally, I have a sort of weird obsession with Eastern Europe, with travel vlogging. You know, most people don't understand it. That singles me out as someone who's a bit different. And you know, that's so in that sense, yeah, I've got to live my life differently. You know, I want to travel to these weird places in Eastern Europe, like Kosovo, you know, Moldova, Bosnia, you know, all these places. Now that's just me, you know. That's the time where I've got to go out on my own and do something specific, because if I don't, then I'm not gonna get a sense of fulfillment that I need, right? And you know, similarly, some other person might really wanna, I don't know, is really into making woods sculptures, and so they start a business making wood sculptures or whatever. You know, so there are times to differentiate yourself from the pack, but I think don't assume that it's the first sort of port of call, because more time it isn't. And you know, again, this sounds so boring. It does feel like I'm just almost handing in the towel. Oh, oops, sorry. I'm almost handing in the towel of my sort of adventurousness by saying this stuff. But take it from someone who's really done like something very unconventional for like, you know, gone out on a limb and done a very unconventional job. You know, unless it's really deeply connected to you, there's no real point. And like, there's a reason why the 9 to 5 exists. I'm not saying you should do a 9 to 5 forever or anything, but you know, there's a lot to be gained from it, because it gives you stability, and with stability, then you can innovate. You know, and that's kind of the conclusion I came to with door-to-door sales. Is like, yeah, it wasn't really serving me. Like, it was unconventional. It was a bit adventurous, but not really in a way that connected with me deeply. And that's the thing. I think if you're sort of having an adventure, if you're doing something unconventional, like, you know, I'm glad I did it still, but it's much more higher ROI if you just do something that's you actually want to do in the first place. You know, rather just go out on a whim and do this kind of unconventional stuff because someone's told you to do it. You know, Iman Gadzhi's told you to do it. And that's the thing that I think about all this online entrepreneur stuff. Like, you know, again, like I want to give it a try. I want to do it. But there are a lot of disadvantages to it, you know. And is it really deeply serving me on a deep level to do it? You know, I'm not sure. I mean, some of these things you just have to try out for yourself and sort of figure it out. I mean, that's the thing about the door-to-door. You know, there's something about doing it that really helps you to realise it. But I can honestly see myself, you know, let's say I, you know, make some really good, I don't know, it's really good online product, and lots of people buy it, and I start making, you know, 2 to 5k a month, and I can go off and live in Thailand. You know, realistically, you know, again, I'm not saying, I mean, it doesn't mean I shouldn't do it, but I'll probably get bored of it in a couple of months, you know. And, you know, some of male life, yeah, is like that. You know, you do something that seems really exciting at the time, and then you do it, and, you know, it kind of seems silly, you know. But I think, well, you just got to realise that how much this stuff is like your genuine desire, and how much of it is just because all you've been watching for the past 12 months is just people telling you to do that thing. And I think if you connect to what you truly want to do deeply, it's one thing that's really significant is you just do it so much better. You know, you'll just get it done so much better because it really resonates with you. And I think another thing, just to finish this off, is it's also very easy to see people's lifestyles online, or even films, you know, even sort of seeing films and sort of people's specific lifestyles in films or whatever. It's very easy to see all that and think, oh, I want to do that as well. You know, like, you know, let's see you watch a certain film about people your age, you go travelling to a certain country, and you think, oh, I want to do that at some point. Do you really though? You know, I'm not saying don't do it, but just it's very easy to just get carried away with that when you'd be better served if you connect to a more authentic desire. There's a quote by Camus which I think sums this all up, which is, I'm not gonna do it justice, but it goes something like, don't stop trying to be everything, just do poetic justice to yourself, and just be exactly who you are, or it's something like that, and just have the experiences that you have. And this is what you realise, you know, no two people's lives are the same, you know, and it's very easy to just see someone and want that to be a model of how your life's going to be. And, you know, it's good to take inspiration from other people. You know, if there's someone you look up to, or you know, there's some character in a film who's lived a life that you sort of look up to, like, take stuff from it. But you got to remember, everyone is just so unique, and there is a kind of destiny to set out for you that you almost don't have that much control over. And I think it's kind of weird to say, but I think in some sense, some point along the line, you have to kind of accept that there's this kind of destiny that you can't really seem to influence too much, and it's very easy to be mistaken about what that destiny is. But yeah, if it doesn't mean you have to follow them sort of step by step, and particularly in terms of age, you know, it's like, oh, they were 23 when they did this, you know, they were 21 when they did this, you know, oh, mine hasn't quite matched up yet. Yeah, it's because you're a different person, you know, and it's easy to sort of superficial levels of success. Of course, yeah, you know, it's annoying if someone's done better than you by a certain age. But a big part of your life is going to be sort of the adversities you go through. That's a lot of where you find meaning, and that's a big part of your destiny. Is sort of just accepting those things and just going along with it. And, you know, glance to inspiration on either side, 100%, but don't try and then get out of the car and get into their car and live their life, because you're not that person. You know, you're your own person. And, you know, you're here for, I do think it sounds very spiritual, but you are here for a very specific reason. And don't try and fuck with that too much. Don't try and sort of get involved and try and be like, no, this is how it should go, this is how it should go. Because who are you to really say that in the grand scheme of things? You know, there are so many forces beyond our control that, yeah, at some point along the line, you just got to kind of accept it and embrace it. And look, I'm not saying just be a sheep, just stick to the 9 to 5. You know, don't try and do something really big. You know, I keep repeating this point because I know how it sounds, but if you are gonna do something, you know, when you do something spectacular and different and special, make sure it comes from sort of the deepest part within you, not between something fairly superficial and you know, something that you're just doing because someone else told you to do it, basically.